Hi, my luminaries. This is Darmani, the Mystical Lighthouse. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for visiting my channel. It is awesome to be able to share this platform with you where we learn and love everything that's mystical, magical, metaphysical, motivational, and we use these tools to manifest those God-sized, those divine dreams, okay? Again, my name is Darmani. I am an astrologer, professional astrologer, light worker, intuitive reader, life coach, friend. However, I am here to be an inspirational lighthouse to guide you along your luminary journey, your luminescent journey, okay? We are all enlightened beings, and I'm here to assist you into understanding just the basics right now of astrology, okay? So this Astrology 101, and we're going to learn first. I am a guide, a spiritual guide. This is the disclaimer. I use astrology and other tools and intuitive tools to assist me in guiding and interpreting those messages that come to me cosmically from the outside world, the world above us, and to be able to manifest it and express it to you in the best way possible, and according to how the energies are wanting me and needing me to express it to you in the simplest form, okay? So again, happy Labor Day to you, and let's get started. Okay. Astrology. What is astrology? Look, astrology is the study of the sun, the moon, the planets, and the stars, and how it affects humanity or individual people on this life down here on earth, okay? So imagine that you have this energy that's consistently around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, and 366 depending on the leap year, okay? But anyway, we're gonna get started. Let me have this moment to say astrology is a science. It's a speculative science. However, energy, we are all surrounded by energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And how astrology applies to you, my luminaries, it applies to you being that light source, that light that's in you, that God, the divine that's in you, that makes you the true you, the soul and essence of who you are. Okay? So with that being said, because it's not witchcraft at all, I want to put that disclaimer out there. Astrology is a science. It's a science. It's your original birth certificate. Just think as your birth chart as your original birth certificate first before you get the original birth certificate that your mama get right after you come up out the valley. I'll put it in a nice way. Out the valley. All right? So let's get started. First house, we're going to talk about, first we're going to break it down like this. Astrology is broken down from Aries, which is the first house, which rules the head, and 12th house, which is Pisces, which rules the feet. And each house is broken down into 30-degree, what we say are orbs. Each house is broken down into various degrees of life that you will experience from your Aries sign, which is the first house. And the first house of Aries is the house of self. It is the house of your physical appearance, the traits that you will have, your characteristics, the first impressions that you bring upon this earth into this world, into the earth. And then talking about first house, it's the general outlook that you have into the world. It's the ego, it's beginning, it's the initiatives. So when we say first house, I am. Aries rules the head. Aries is the planet of self-initiative. It is one of the initiator signs in the astrological belt. So the initiator signs would be Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check. And Libra, but I will double check that again. Do not quote me on that. That's going to be another lesson, okay? But first house, we're talking about first house. We're talking about who you are. We're talking about how you present yourself to the world. We're talking about how your swag is when you present yourself to everybody when they see you. Everybody, Aries now rules the head. It rules how you take charge, how you are aggressive in making certain first steps in being your own leader, okay? So your first house will have your ascendant sign. Everybody's ascendant sign, rising sign, again, that's another lesson. Ascendant signs will be different. So everybody will initiate differently. A Capricorn rising will initiate differently from the first house Aries, as opposed to a Cancer rising will initiate how they present themselves emotionally, how they express themselves from the first house. Okay, so first house is you. Always know that, all right? So second house is the house of Taurus. Second house is the house of value. It's those things that we love and value. It's material and immaterial things of certain value. That means money, belongings, property, acquisitions, cultivations, growth, and substance, and most importantly, your self-worth. So when we come into the second house of material and immaterial things, a certain value is ruled by Taurus, which is Venus. Venus is the house of love, beauty, relationships, and desires. So whenever you see Venus in a reading, or possibly the Empress card in tarot, that is the card of value, nurturing, new beginnings as far as value. It's things that are important to you in your life, whether it be material or immaterial, all right? So first house, let me get it clear if I get too far. First house is Mars, which is Aries. Aries is the fighter planet. It's the go-getter, okay? So first house is Mars. Second house is Venus. So now we're going to move on down to the third house, which third house is Gemini. It's them twins, as we call it. We that duality that we each have in ourselves. The third house in the astrological belt is the house of communications, and that would be early education and childhood environment, communications like I just mentioned, happiness, intelligence, your achievements, siblings, it rules siblings, neighborhood matters, short and local travel, that's right here in local in your neighborhood. Short travel is around you, and transportation. So these things, as far as Gemini rules the hands. It rules communication in which we speak. It rules teaching. It rules all forms. Gemini rules all forms of media, and that will be entertainment. It will be social media, ways that we communicate with each other. It's a sharing of information. So always remember, third house is information. How we give information. Okay. Um, fourth house. Fourth house is the house of Cancer. That is the house of mother, of nourishment. Fourth house is the house of home and family. That is the title that the fourth house of Cancer, that is what it is called. The fourth house is the house of home and family. It rules the parent. Okay, fourth house is parent. Third house is brothers. Let me go back up. Second house is wealth. First house is life. Okay, so we're going to drop back down to the fourth house, which is Cancer, which is the parent. And parent and house of home and family. Fourth house. Yes, fourth house is ancestry, heritage, roots, early foundation and environment. Mother of mothers and a mother figures as well. The caretaker of the household and celic end of matters. So we think of fourth house of home as being the house of a mother, those motherly figures, those elder mothers, those type of figures, those divine feminine figures that have come into our lives as either to be they're our caretakers of home, they're caretakers in the church, they're caretakers and somehow in the community. Somehow they are not acknowledged as caretakers in the neighborhood. They the mothers, the elder mothers of the neighborhood. They are very nurturing. They are here to provide that nourishment, that guidance that we need in our early childhood developments that we'll carry on throughout our lifetime. Okay, because you think about this is a childhood house. So again, it's the fourth house of family. Let me interject in between here. That even though each house has its own representative, whatever planets falls into the various houses is going to affect that landlord of that particular astrological house that is in. So it's going to change the functions in various different ways. So everybody's birth chart in various degrees is going to be different, okay? Then the planets will alter it, or it won't affect it at all. It'll just be comfortable, especially if the planet is comfortably sitting in its own residency. So we're going on to the fifth house, which is my favorite house. I am a Leo. Fifth house. Fifth house rules children. It is known as the house of pleasure. It's recreational and leisure activities. Things that make for enjoyment and entertainment, games and gambling, children, love and romance, and creative self-expression. So right now, Venus has just moved into Leo, September the 6th, 2020. I'm dating it that. So Venus loves being around the house of fun, because that's what the house of Leo is about. Fun. It's about creativity. It's about the sun. The sun rules. The sun rules in tarot. The sun is a very playful card, and that's a separate lesson, okay? The sun rules children, having fun, those things that are pleasurable, those things that bring joy into your life. It also represents the house of speculative business as well. So it depends again what planet falls into, or what energy falls into the fifth house of Leo. So the fourth house Cancer is ruled by the moon, which the moon card in tarot is the Chariot card. But however, I like to use the Venus card, which is the Empress card, because it's a very nurturing card, and it deals with mother and motherly type figures. So again, that's another lesson in itself. We're going to keep it going, all right? So we're moving out here to the 6th house. This is Virgo. Right now, as I'm recording this video, my loves, we are in Virgo season. Happy birthday to the Virgos. Virgo's rule is the house of health and daily routine. 6th house Virgo. Virgo is ruled by, Virgo is ruled by the Hermit card, which is a Virgo card, but let's talk about the manifestor card that's in the deck, and that's the Magician. Being able to manifest those things. You have all the elements from air, earth, water, and air, earth, water, and wind. You have these elements, everything you have to manifest those things to you, because again, the Magician card, he has the ability to manifest, taking in those things, those lessons and everything that he's learned, and he brings about that communication to you that not only heals yourself, but he has the ability to manifest and make those things come true, because you are built with this energy inside you to manifest the impossible. You know what I'm saying? We are in the womb of the great mother, so you can manifest God-sized dreams. You are the manifester of unlimited abilities. So 6th house is the house of health. It rules routine, tasks, and duties, skills or training acquired, because you may have to have some training to what it is that you're most passionate about, because it's below Leo, and it's getting that overage, that drip that comes down from the houses, from the 1st to the 5th house, but the 5th to the 6th. So just think, it's always an overflow. Libra, it's skills and training required, job and employment, health and overall well-being is how you take care of yourself, how you feed yourself. Start with I am, how you feed yourself. And service performed to others, caretaking, pets, and small domestic animals. You may see a little bitty animal behind me right now. That's my little one, Mr. Romeo. So, that 6th house is going to deal with caretaking and service to others, social services, things of that nature, and also being able to be a service to others, and as well as it is the service it's actually to, on the local level, out here to the people. Again, that's another lesson. But we're going to keep it moving right along. 7th house. The 7th house is ruled, it means spouse. So in the 7th house, your spouse, whatever type of spouse you may attract into your life, or not so much attract, but when you were born, the moment you were born, the time that you were born, at that time, whatever the planets were moving at that particular time, that is what's possibly is going to be in your house for spouse. And that's the house of partnerships. It's the 7th house, okay? And it's close, confident, like relationships, marriage and business partnerships, agreements, treaties, matters dealing with diplomatic relations of all kinds, including known enemies, because it's known as an enemy house, and attractions to qualities we admire from another partner. So the 7th house is ruled by Libra, and that is the 7th card. That card in tarot is known as the Justice card, and you will see where in her hand there are scales that's being held in her hand and a sword in the other. Sword is communication. Scales is balancing out or coming to some kind of harmonious agreement in what this relationship, whether it be marriage or business, what it's going to come to. So Libra, again, it's ruled by, it's Venus. It shares space with the planet of Venus, okay? And Venus, again, is the planet of love. It's the house of beauty, your heart's desires, sweetheart, and relationships. So this is the house, 7th house Libra is the house of relationships. Moving along. Hello, we got, okay, this is the house that everybody don't like to hear about in their chart. And that's the 8th house of Scorpio. It's the house of reincarnation. There's nothing bad about there's nothing bad about this house. Eighth house Scorpio, it deals with the lower part. It's like this, like from 7 to here, it would be yin and then yang. We take the yang would be the other 6 to 12 houses. So there's that duality we're talking about, right? In Gemini, we all have the light and dark, baby. All of us do. Okay, we have to balance that thing out. It's that Libra, right? Anyway, Scorpio is the house of reincarnation. It is cycles of death, rebirth, sexual relationships, and deeply committed relationships of all kinds. It deals with joint funds, finances, other people's resources, occult, psychic, and taboo matters, which that would be astrology and other esoteric metaphysical things. Regeneration is self-transformation. So just think, quick lesson. 2nd house is self-worth. Opposite Taurus is Scorpio, and that would be 8th house. And 8th house is talking about self-transformation. So let's say you take those things that you love and value, and then you go into your own personal reservoir from your ascendant. And that is how you'll be able to transform your life and your world and all your affairs into something magnanimous, okay? But it is the house of death and rebirth. Remember, energy doesn't die. It does not die. It only can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So you can transform whatever it is from dirt, from underground, and manifest it and bring it to the surface, okay? So transformation is a good thing. Change is good. 9th house is Sagittarius, which is a house of philosophy. 9th house is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is the benevolent planet. It's the guru, spiritual guru, and spiritual teachers. But it's wealth of high wisdom and knowledge. And it deals with foreign travel, foreign countries, culture, long distance travels, journeys, religion, law and ethics, high education, knowledge, and experience through expansion. So it's a very much an expansive planet. Well, it's a planet of it's the planet of the teacher. It's the planet of the preacher. It's the planet of the educator, the professor, anything that deals with high wisdom and knowledge and understanding. That is Sagittarius, because opposite of Sagittarius is 3rd house Gemini, which is the planet of communication, education, short distance travel. That's locally. Opposite of 3rd house Gemini is down at the 9th house of Sagittarius, which is expansion. It wants to give information. It wants to learn and expand. So it's still sharing of information, similar to what I am doing here. So we're gonna move it right along. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and the card in that particular deck is the card of Temperance. 10th house is the house of Capricorn, house of social status. It's the house of ambitions, motivations, career, status in society, government, authority, father and father figures. Remember, 4th house is motherly and motherly figures. 10th house is fatherly figures. 10th house is the house of your public life. It is the house of authority. It is the appearance or your impressions you put on the large audience. It is the house, 10th house Capricorn is ruled by the planet. The world card is Jupiter in Capricorn, and the devil card. The devil card is It is ruled by Capricorn. Okay. The meaning is not. It's not mean. It is the devil card. It's just a way how you show you how to release yourself from certain bondages, certain things, habits. It is very much is a card of revelation, so to speak. But we're gonna move to right along to the next door neighbors. Capricorn and Aquarius share the same sign, which is Saturn. And Aquarius is co-ruled by the modern ruler. It is Uranus, which is the planet of change and rebellion. So 11th house is Aquarius, which is the house of friendships. It is friends and acquaintances of like-minded attitudes, groups, clubs, society, high associations, brief fortunes from career, and one's hopes and wishes. So ninth house is the hope, is your wish fulfillment house. It is those social connections that we have amongst the collective. Aquarius rules the collective. Think of social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Those mediums of communication will fall in the 11th house because Aquarius rules technology, and it is a communicator. It is an air sign, so it has to communicate and move freely. We think about how Facebook has changed the life of the collective of us all, because now we can communicate with each other freely, and then not only that, we have these alliances that we've developed with other people from all around the world, like-minded people. 12th house. 12th house is a house of Pisces. It's house of prison. It's not a bad thing. Prison, I don't like to use that. We'll say the house of isolation. It's the house of self-undoing. It's the house of mysticism, mystery, and places of seclusion such as hospitals, prisons, institutions, including self-imposed imprisonments. Things which are not apparent to the self, yet clearly seen by others. It's elusive, clandestine, it's kind of secretive, privacy, retreat, reflection, self-sacrifice. It is the house of the unconscious, subconscious, and unknown enemies. So the 12th house is the house where you have your spiritual, it's very much a spiritual house. It's a house of mysticism and mystery. Those things, the secret that are from beyond. It's above that esoteric type of knowledge. That connects us all to our own spirituality. Those individuals that like to work alone. It's very much a self-sufficient house, but you are definitely to yourself, but it's a place where you can undo and find new things that are hidden about yourself, hidden talents that you can share with the world. And I'd like to thank you all, my loves, my luminaries. This is Daria Darmani coming to you live from the 404 by way of 312. Thank you for coming to the Mystical Lighthouse. This has been your basic astrology lesson 101, where we talk about the houses, the astrological houses from 1 to 12. And with that being said, you are the magic in the world. Say it. I am the magic in the world. I am the mystical manifester of greatness and excellence into my life, into my world, and to all of my affairs. And with that being said, I love you, and until next time, peace.